The Ruger 350 Legend Ranch Rifle, from the November 2019 issue of Guns Magazine, by Guns editor Brent T. Wheat, read by the author. Our guide, Steve Jones, slammed the four-wheel drive utility vehicle to a halt on the rocky Texas ranch trail. Wild pigs are hated around these parts, especially among ranchers, so we'd already been granted guns-free clearance if any were seen. Now only a few hours after flying into San Antonio, driving 2 hours west to the Ivy Ranch, and spending a half-hour sighting in my rifle, the proverbial green light was glowing. It was time to put up or shut up. The two youngish boars had been minding their own business when our group of gun riders rudely interrupted their evening. The pair split and flanked either side of our war wagon at a scalding pace. Jumping from the rear passenger seat, my lightweight Ruger American Ranch Rifle was instantly up and tracking one of the streaking porkers as he did his best impression of a startled greyhound. Time had already shifted into the classic 1 heartbeat per minute mode. Upon Steve's shout of "Take 'em," I fired. To my not inconsiderable surprise, the first big black pig piled up 40 yards away in an NFL highlight reel-worthy tumble as the 180 grains of Winchester 350 Legend slammed home. He was still kicking and squealing when I ran the bolt to send another bit of persuasion in his direction. It settled his hash quite nicely. I'm not sure why his bristly wingman was still in the same zip code, but I looked up and saw the second pig moving away, only inches from cresting a rise where he would disappear for good. Unsure if anybody else had fired, but not wanting the pig to escape, I lined up the scope a few feet ahead of the ugly black snout and touched off my third round. The pig seemed to stumble as he rolled over the ridge. Oh well, turns out nobody else had fired. Walking toward the first pig like it was a ticking time bomb, I held my unsafetied rifle toward his head in case of sudden resurrection. I've seen what angry hogs can do with overeager nimrods, so I thought it was worthwhile insurance. I was nearly on top of the boar when one of my partners shouted he'd found the second pig. It was deader than good manners just over the rise, but at the sudden, unexpected noise, I blurted out something that sounded much like "shot." Fortunately, I'd brought along extra undergarments for the trip. Unfortunately, they were back at camp. Regardless of hygiene concerns, I had just dropped the first 2 animals ever taken with the new Ruger American Ranch Rifle chambered in 350 Legend. In the twilight, as we fled an impending Texas thunderstorm, I quietly basked in the rarefied afterglow of 2 successful challenging shots and clean kills. Full of myself, I felt ready to defend the Alamo and take on a herd of charging rogue elephants with the diminutive rifle I had just blooded. This newest version of the Ruger American Ranch Rifle is a companion piece to the equally new Winchester 350 Legend cartridge introduced earlier this year. The cartridge was primarily designed to fill the needs of rifle hunters in so-called straight-wall Midwestern states where quote-unquote regular rifle cartridges such as the .270, .243, or .30-30 aren't legal. However, inane regional hunting laws aside, I fell in love with the gun cartridge combo and currently consider it my go-to medium-range, medium-game rifle. After the entirely satisfying pig affair, I was back in the field early the next morning with ranch owner Mark Ivy. We headed over to his mom's place a few miles west to check out the free-range axis deer herds. A native of India, axis deer are larger than whitetail, sport a miniature elk rack, and wear a beautiful spotted fawn-like coat. They're commonly raised on Texas hill country hunting ranches, but escapees have formed large indigenous herds over the years. We chased uncounted numbers all morning across the open cattle range. Now don't mistake this for a complaint. My axis kill was almost anticlimactic. Having stalked a massive bull all morning, we eventually lost sight of him and finally assumed the morning hunt was finished as it neared 11 a.m. Suddenly, as we turned the corner on a ranch trail, there he was, standing like the proverbial magazine cover face on at 70 yards. As soon as Mark confirmed this was indeed our target, I fired. The deer took a few steps and I hammered him again. He took a couple more steps, staggered drunkenly for a few seconds, then went down hard. We found both shots went perfectly into the boiler room, and either one would have been fatal even if he were standing on the doorstep of a major veterinary hospital. Terminal performance was perfect. One mushroom bullet was found under the hide on the opposite side, while the second had exited and spun into the trees. I had my trophy. I was awed. In fact, one of the outfitters said it was a once-in-a-lifetime axis. Not being an expert, I don't know if it really is such a noteworthy trophy, but his head has now taken up permanent residence in my home. My long-suffering wife is thrilled, mostly. I came away with several lessons from this adventure. First off, axis deer are challenging and fun to hunt, spectacular to watch, and the meat is even better than dry-aged beef. Second, and more importantly, the Ruger American Ranch Rifle in 350 Legend is arguably the perfect short to medium range deer rifle, regardless of what you could be legally toting on your hunting ground. I'm now a big fan, even when I'm wearing clean underwear. For more information on the Ruger Ranch Rifle, visit Ruger.com, and for more information on the 350 Legend cartridge, check out Winchester.com. And once you're done with that, check out the full story at gunsmagazine.com.